Hey, welcome to the Sports Nuts. Yes, this is a special episode. We have it titled as episode 141A. Why? Because we have a gentleman who is going to come and talk to us about a monumental victory for the University of Hawaii. We're talking to Hawaii Sports Radio Network's own Michael Lasquero. Before we get him going, though, my man sitting right next to me, Mr. Brian Pettit. How are you doing, sir?
I am doing good. I just got finished cooking hot dogs for the kids and my wife, and so it's been a busy day. I've been up since 3 o'clock this morning, so I'm still going.
Oh, I couldn't do it. My man below me, though, Mike Pensman. What's going on, brother?
I'm good. I've been up just as long, and I just got home from work and watching the Yankees game, and here we are.
That's right. Let's get it. We're going to have a lot of fun. Guys, like I said, the gentleman we have on, he is going to talk to us about the game that Hawaii won against Stanford, and we'll talk a little bit about as well. The kicker has been placed on national news. Yes, he was featured on national news, so we'll talk a little bit about that one. And then after he does leave, we do want to quickly go over the 5 games that took place on week 0 this weekend. Kind of tease you into week 1 official matchups. Without any further ado, Michael, aloha, man. How are you?
Hey, what's up, fellas?
Oh man, so glad to have you on. By the way, has it sunk in yet for you that we are 1-0 and we knocked off our first ever ACC opponent? Has it sunk into you yet?
Well, never a doubt. This Hawaii team is built different. I'm actually was working on a YouTube video, because I mean, like Brandon, not sorry, Brandon. Is that Brian? Brian was. He said he was up since 3 a.m. On game day on Saturday. I was up since 4 a.m. But I was still trying to film myself reacting to the game at like 10 at night. So it's one of those games where you just get fired up as a fan, and even as a media member, it just gives you juice that the vibes are at an all-time high in this state right now, and it's the best time of the year. College football is back, and Hawaii football is 1-0. So it's all great vibes now. I know there's a bit question mark on whether Michael Alejandro will play this weekend, but we're not even there yet. We're still enjoying this win. It is Victory Monday here in the 50th state.
You know what? We saw Hawaii. They kind of got off to a slow start, really, but then they woke up. It was just like, bing, we're here. We woke up. What would be your overall grade for the entire performance? That's both first and second half combined. Like, would you get an A, B, C, D, or an F? What would you grade them?
Well, we're giving them an A minus, right? Because definitely going down 10-0 at the start of the game, you never want to be in that position, especially for a team that all throughout training camp and all throughout game week, their mantra was starting fast. Well, when you start 10-0, that's the opposite of starting fast. So, but seeing how they responded from that adversity, being down 10-0, and also in the fourth quarter being down 20-17, they deserve an A minus. There sure was stuff to that they could wreck. Yes, but when you think about it, man, if this team really didn't make some of those mistakes, they could have been winning this game by double-digit points. So I would give them an A minus. There is a lot of praise to go around. Definitely special teams. There was a lot of points on the board that they were responsible for and keeping off. You got the 3 field goals by Kansei Matsuzawa. You get the blocked field goal in that second quarter, which was kind of the difference because that field goal would have tied the game in the grand scheme of things. Yeah, so I would just A minus, but on 90%, there's still stuff that they can fix. But I feel very good about this team, even though the scoreboard might be closer than it seems.
I agree. Brian, what you have your question? Go ahead.
Hey, Michael, what got you into broadcasting, like for the radio? I mean, when you were young, did you ever think that you would actually be doing the radio kind of a deal for the Hawaii football
Well,
team?
well, so for just a little backstory on me, like and what I do for Hawaii Sports Radio, I would probably say I'm like 90% non-radio and 10% radio. There's a lot. I mean, if you go to HI Sports Radio on the Instagram, all our social media, I do a lot of graphics. I do a lot of content like that. I write. I take photos. I take video. I make graphics. I go to practices and I do interviews. The radio portion was just something where I kind of needed to. It was something that I jumped into, right? Because I was covering high school for a lot, right? So I was originally a journalism major, old school newspaper. I saw very early on that, hey, this is a dying industry. I need to diversify. I need to expand my horizons, pick up new skill sets to put in the tool bag. And just like any player, right? Whatever you can do to get on the field, whatever you can do to get on the court, I'm gonna do. So I learned how to do photography, then I learned how to do graphics, and I just radio is actually the newest horizon on my plate. So yeah, it's I will confidently say I'm the most versatile, I'm the most um Mr. Do Everything media person in the state, and nobody can touch that.
I like
That's
that. I
cool.
absolutely like that terminology. Mike, you have a question for him? Go ahead.
Nice to meet you, Mike. By the way, my question is: do you, after that big win, you got that off your shoulders, you got the monkey off your shoulders per se? Do you think this team can make a playoff push, or bowl eligible with Micah with the limp?
So, Mike, great question. And I love your name, by the way. If you haven't noticed, that's a very phenomenal name.
Yeah, thank you. I
I would,
appreciate that.
this team definitely has to take steps to get there. And I think being bowl eligible, having either a 6-win or 7-win season, having a non-losing season is what this team needs to be aspiring towards, right? And I know we live in a society, we live in a generation where you kind of get things instant, right? I like to go to fast food and get my fast food because I'm in this industry, you don't have time to cook. We
Who
like to
don't?
go to we like to go to Instagram, and we like to go on social media, and we get this instant gratification. But success, there is a process to being successful. And I mean, it'll be a pipe dream for us to kind of have like a 2007 season where we're pushing for like national stuff. But let's kind of focus on the steps to get there, and that's being a bowl eligible team. And the Sheraton Hawaii Bowl, that's I mean, that's something that the fans here in Hawaii have not been able to be a part of since pre-COVID, right, in 2019. So that was a different time of this of the country, of the world. And this fans, I mean, especially for a team that doesn't have a permanent stadium yet, they need to get to a bowl game to show whoever may be the powers that be, hey, let's support this team. Let's go ahead and build that stadium.
You hit the nail on the head, absolutely. And by the way, you mentioned fast food. When was the last time you had some Loco Moco?
Loco Moco, it's actually been a while. So I'll probably have Loco Moco this week. So thank you for that suggestion, Brandon.
Hey, I haven't had it since 2010. Oh, I'm licking my chops at how yummy. Oh, it's so good.
Okay, hey, by the way, Michael and Brandon, you're gonna have to explain it to us because I don't know what it is. So you got
Michael, explain if you can. Kind of let them know what Loco Moco is.
Yeah.
So Loco Moco, you have rice, which is a staple in a lot of Hawaii dishes. You have this beef patty, almost like a hamburger, but I mean, some people prepare it differently. And then you have egg on top of that with some gravy just drenched all over. And I don't even know where it started, but it is the most unhealthiest thing you ever eat,
That's
but
why
it
it's so
fills
good.
you up. And there's a lot of gravy. I like my eggs kind of scrambled. That's just kind of how I like my eggs. But it is one of the best things you'll ever eat. Definitely plan to having a Kanak attack and wanting to take a nap after you eat a Loco Moco though.
Ain't that the truth? It's so good. That and spam masubi. Oh,
Next topic.
So all right, Michael, give us
That sounds so good.
Give us your description of Alejandro. I mean, I would say his performance is top notch. Obviously he was hurt, he was gritty to play the entire game on a bum ankle, but kind of give us your impressions or your description of his overall performance.
Well, he's a winner. He's a gamer. He's a leader. And one thing I liked about this game, like for fans that want to see the traditional run and shoot offense, like with Colt Brennan and Timmy Chang, where like you're putting up a billion points, throwing for 400, 500 yards. Defenses nowadays in college football, they're not as weak as it was back then when those June Jones teams were feasting on stuff. And one thing I want to see from a quarterback and from an offense is efficiency. And he completed 69% of his passes. It was only for 210 yards, but he took what the defense gave him, and getting those field goals set up for Kansei Matsuzawa to hit the game-tying field goal and the game-winning field goal with no time on the clock. I put it out there on Twitter that there's a reason why Micah Alejandro wears number 12, and there was some shades of Tom Brady. Tom Brady, in those early years, trying to set up Adam Vinatieri for those game winning kicks. And I like that Micah trusts his teammates to do that, right? I think in past years, maybe Braden Shaker, the former quarterback that started for the University of Hawaii under Timmy Chang, sometimes I felt like he was doing a bit too much, putting a lot more on his shoulders, and not trusting trying to maybe either throw a deep bomb or get everything in one play or kind of just take it on his own. But Micah trusts his players, and he's also willing to put it on his line, right? We see him playing on that bum ankle. We saw him have a 30-something yard rush to set up the first touchdown for the game. But he's also willing to, hey, if the flat is open, I'm going to take the throw to the flat. If the running back is open on a check down, I'm going to check it down. And that's something that you just need. You don't want to, you want to have positive plays. And Michael Alejado is definitely someone that you can say is a net positive when you put him out on the field.
I saw a lot of experts, quote unquote experts, that are comparing quite a few professional athletes to our players. Micah is compared to Drew Brees, obviously for his height and his accuracy. But Pafila Ashlock, I've had people say he's comparable to Ashley Lilly. What do you think?
That one I'm not too sure. I mean, I mean, I'm no disrespect to Ashley Lilly, but I'm not that old. So I can't really give.
What are you saying? I'm not that. I was kidding.
I can't really give a fair comparison with that, but I mean, yeah, our players will get compared. I don't know exactly who to compare Pofele Ashlock to though in the NFL.
He
But,
also reminds me a lot of Jason Rivers and Devon Best mixed together. They both were shifty.
yeah. So it's kind of weird though because like Jason Rivers played on the outside. He was like an X receiver for the run and shoot in those June Jones teams, while Devon Best was in the slot receiver. So I know we like to, and here's my biggest kind of gripe with some of the promotional material for Hawaii, and I know nationally like people always look at those Colt Brennan, June Jones years, the 2007 years, but I think here for locally, I think we rightfully so we glaze that team, but there's a lot more history in this program's and there's a lot more history and a lot more players and different eras that we need to be promoting a bit more than just that one year, because you look at the Bryant Muniz years with Greg Salas, you look at the years with Nick Rolovich as a player and as a coach, and even the old school when they had when they were running the wishbone and the army offenses. I mean, I like watching Michael Carter highlights from time to time on YouTube. So there's a lot more of history for Hawaii that I like to see. So I kind of want to see if Michael Alejado is one of one and Pofele Ashlock is one of one as well. So we'll see later on what the comparisons will be, but I like that they're their own player.
A good friend of mine, you may know him, Brian Kajiyama. He and I were talking about Micah Alejado, and the fear is there's this ever least favorite word. It begins with the letter L, loyalty. It's the loyalty word, and it's far and few between. We know Cade Klubnik at Clemson was offered $10 million to go to a Big Ten school. He turned it down to finish up his time at Clemson. It is rare to see loyalty still exist, and the question that comes to mind is does Micah Alejado, does he stay loyal to the University of Hawaii? Or, does someone come along that will pay him $5, $6, $7, $8, $12 million a year just to be their quarterback? And I told Brian, I said, I don't think that he will leave. I think Alejado will stay. What do you think? Do you think, that he is loyal through and through to the program and, of course, the state?
Well, I'm not gonna put that on Micah now. We're just literally like heading into week 1 of the college football season, and if Micah does blow up, I think Logan Ryan on the CBS broadcast or in some of the production meetings, like, hey, this guy might be the start of a Heisman campaign, and if Micah Alejado does, and if a team is willing to give him, 8 figures, I'm not gonna sit here and be like, no, you shouldn't take that. That is life-changing money, and like none of us in this chat, I don't know who might be watching, but I'm not sure if any of our viewers right now will ever be in that position. And if you're ever in that position as a player and as a quarterback or as a student athlete, like that those are real life-changing money that you really have to take consideration into. Now I say that now because that to me, I'm also want to put pressure on things like our state governments, things like our state legislature, and even corporate sponsors of the University of Hawaii that they pay money to get their logo on some of the material, but I know you have a lot more money to give towards NIL. So that's where I'm gonna be going. Where if he does get offered by some Power Four school like maybe Oregon or Alabama or any of the sort, I'm not gonna sit here and cry about him wanting that experience, right? I mean, for one, we don't even have a legitimate Division I stadium, right? So this is more on, hey, we got the guy. What are we gonna do as a state to keep him here and keep him happy? And also, again, I don't want to overreact too, but this is still a make or break it year for Timmy Chang and staff, right? Right now they're 1-0. They could easily be 0-1 a few plays here to here, or if that Stanford kid wasn't trying to aura farm after that sack, there's a few plays here and there. We're 0-1, and it's a very bad time here in the state. So I do know I think he will be loyal to Timmy Chang, but if Timmy Chang's not here, he might leave, right? I know I can say from my sources that in the offseason, after one start, like he was already a list of names that UCLA was eyeing of potentially trying to get through the transfer portal if they're available. So I don't want to cross that bridge right now, Brandon and whoever else is here. So let's just kind of focus on the now and worry about that at the end of the season.
You're right. And you just mentioned that they're a breath. They could be a breath away from being 0-1, but we have a tough opponent to start the week 1 version or the second week for us, wherever you want to look at. But we know road challenges have not really been our favor, especially under Coach Chang. I believe that he's won like 3 road games since he's taken over the helm.
2.
2. Okay, yeah, so 2, and then we're traveling down to the desert to take on Arizona. It's a nationally televised game on TNT. What is the mind frame in Coach Chang's eyes that he has to get his team mentally prepared? Because this is one of the bigger opponents. Obviously, you're playing a Pac-12, a Big 12 team, and you just beat an ACC team, and now you're going to another power conference. What does Coach Chang have to do to get this team on that level and realize, hey, we can beat anybody? And then let's just say for bleeps and giggles, they pull up another upset. Can people really start believing this could be the team that we have expected for 4 years now?
Well, I mean, if you want to just talk about what the message should be to his team this week, specifically against Arizona, is you have nothing to lose, right? I think when the betting lines came out, they opened up maybe as a 14-point underdog. Now with this questionable with if Michael Alejandro is available or not on Saturday, right now I think they're a 17.5-point underdog, right? So everything's going kind of going against them, and Timmy Chang's teams, even though they may not have been winning a lot, they do really good against the spread. So that will probably be the mindset, just trying to, you have nothing to lose. Now, how competitive they are in this game, it remains to be seen, depending on the injury report. Not only was Micah kind of banged up, but I think linebacker Jemai Otis was a little banged up. Right now, I think we ended the game with only 3 starting offensive linemen. I think there's some backups that were in there as well. So it will really determine on the injury report, and the practice for media is open tomorrow, so that's where I will be. So I can't really give an updates on the injuries right now, and even then we can't really report on injuries, but definitely on game day I'll probably post what I know on my Twitter platform and whatnot. So but yeah, I would go with the mindset there's nothing to lose. And just go out there and have fun, right? I think most people are penciling this is going to be a loss, but they come right back against 2 winnable games against Sam Houston State and Portland State. I very much know that I very much believe that we will start the season 3-1. I'll put that down right now. Break that prediction. We'll start the season 3-1. Maybe they'll put me wrong and start 4-0, but they'll start the season 3-1, and that we can reevaluate that question after the fact.
Yeah, I want to lean more to the believing it is 3-1, but I would not be surprised if we do see a 4-0 start for Hawaii. Look, we play Arizona next. We go back home, take on Sam Houston, and then we have to follow right after and take Portland State. One is an FCS, the other one is still trying to gain their footing in the FBS level. So it's going to be, regardless, going to be a fun time. All right. So the last question that I have for you, what are your thoughts on the introductions of Hawaii to the field? You know, many people often were talking about Hawaii going back to doing the ha-ah dance, and I guess Coach Chang has still not decided on that. But, you know, you actually made an alluded to on the video you posted for seeing Hawaii come on the field for their introduction the same time Stanford was there. And Hawaii didn't back down. They held their ground. Does this also say that, you know, UH, they're back and they're ready to go?
Sorry, you said something about going on the field at the same time. Could you repeat the question?
So you had made a video about, you don't see this often, Hawaii was coming on the field for their introduction and Stanford was on at the same time. And, you know, Hawaii didn't back down to the challenge of them being on the field at the same time for the introduction. You know, does this put everything up in right in front of everybody that says Hawaii is not an easy cakewalk? They're here and they're ready to play.
I'm not sure where this question is going, and you can probably, I mean, I have some time. You can ask another question after this, but because their introduction, the way they come onto the field with the stuff, that's just kind of how they've always done it. So, I don't know. I mean,
What were your thoughts on Hawaii being on the field at the exact same time for introductions with Stanford?
I mean, they're their home team. They can do whatever they want. So,
Yeah.
ask me. I don't want that to be the last question you ask, Brandon. So if anybody has another question, I can answer two more questions.
What is the vibe now that we've officially saw the announcement made that Hawaii is getting a stadium, a 22,500 seat stadium, New Aloha Stadium District, and it's supposed to be slated to be done in March of 29. What is your thoughts going on around that now, knowing we do have a date inked out?
Is it inked out though? Brandon, you've been in Hawaii. You know how there's things in Hawaiian time.
Yep.
It remains to be seen, right? Do I believe the stadium is going to get built? Yes. Now, will the quality of the stadium be as good as we want it to be? I don't know. Now, I do think they're going to do whatever they can to build that stadium, but there's a lot of things outside of their control, right? If I can plug one of my articles, right? I did one of those, the good news about this deal being done and the not so good news, right? And the not so good news is there's things, the reason why the stadium got pushed back is because there's things outside of Hawaii's control that even, you know, in sports, we talk about control what you control. Well, we can't control that there's tariffs, and I'm not trying to get political, but we can't control the tariffs. We can't control that China is the biggest steel producer, and we can't control that Hawaii.
Oh
boy.
You there, Michael?
Yeah, I'm here.
You froze. What you froze? What you're saying?
Yeah, there's just things outside of Hawaii's control that even if things in the state were like 100%, everybody's in line, it's still outside of Hawaii's control. So until it happens, it's let me see it first.
Seeing is really, I like that. And lastly, do we know if the rail is going to be tied into getting to the Halava district, or are they just going to stay at a stalemate for the rest of its time?
No,
I know there's been a big mess of that.
The rail is running. Like like even my brother last semester, he would catch the bus from, we live on the west side. He would catch the bus he would ride the rail to Aloha Stadium and then catch the bus from Aloha Stadium to the University of Hawaii. So the rail will be fully integrated with the stadium. I believe in 2 months from now, the rail will also take you to the Kalihi Transit Center, which means it will take people to the Honolulu airport. So the rail for the stadium, it's totally it's functional right now. Now, the people on the east or the people in town can ride the rail to the stadium. That remains to be seen, because that's going to be the most busiest and the most traffic hectic part of the rail project. But yes, the rail project is definitely tied to the stadium, and I know there will probably be a lot of fans that will ride the rail to the stadium when the stadium is built.
Absolutely. You know, and just all we want, I know the the term Hawaiian time, you'll get there when it gets there kind of thing. I absolutely know. It's 100% real. But I'm just excited that, I mean, can I get an amen? Hawaii football's back. Like, it's here. It's football.
That's right.
You know, it's here. We're able to scream our voices off and cheer on our favorite team. And I know, Michael, I know you, Ku, and the whole Hawaii Sports Radio Network team is going to be loud and in charge. If you could, please tip your cap to everybody there for us. We greatly appreciate it. And I'm looking forward to having you on again sometime in the near future, maybe talking about Hawaii going to a bowl game. I could see a big bowl game happening for us. Sound good?
Yep.
All right, Michael, you take care of yourself. Real quick, where can people find you, sir?
You can follow me at Michael Lasquero. I'm on Twitter and X, and I'm also on Instagram. I'm trying to figure out what I want to do with my Instagram, but definitely follow our work at HawaiiSportsRadio.com.
Absolutely. And just so you know, you have more fans now than when you did when you started our show with us. So we greatly appreciate you. Michael, take care of yourself. Have a wonderful afternoon, and we'll talk soon.
Yeah, Michael, take care, man.
Peace.
Aloha. All right, guys, that was really cool to kind of get another perspective on University of Hawaii. I mean, look, I'm not tooting the horn yet because there's too many variables out there. But let's just say, for bleeps and giggles, the University of Hawaii does come ready to play on Saturday, and they do upset Arizona on a nationally televised game. What do you think, Brian? Are you sold on saying the possibility?
Well, I want to see what they say about his injury, Mike.
Mike Alejando's,
Yeah, I want to see what his injury is, and then I'll make my thing. But it is a away game, like he said. I mean, they've only won like 2 games on the road.
Yeah,
that's kind of
2 games
weird.
on the road on the chain.
So it kind of breaks into that. Is it going to be the same old, same old? And I just want to see. I want to see what kind of offense they play this time. I don't even really think that Stanford was actually that good.
They weren't.
They were not. But I just want to see what his
known as a
injury
perennial
is.
powerhouse. I mean,
Yeah.
just to put this in perspective for people, if you don't understand and know this, Hawaii has never beaten Stanford. This was actually the first time in program history they beat Stanford. Well, let's take it to another level. Hawaii never beaten an ACC opponent. And Stanford is in the Atlantic Coast Conference, weird to say, but so Hawaii did the unthinkable, and they upset a Power 4 franchise in Stanford, which is a part of the ACC. Well, it's 2 going right there too, and now they're playing a Big 12 opponent in Arizona. And Arizona, as everybody knows, had a really rocky road kind of season last season.
Yeah.
And Hawaii, they're coming in, biting the bush. Look, just if Micah Alejado can't play against Arizona, it doesn't mean you don't have quality quarterbacks literally right behind you. I mean, you have 2 4-star quarterbacks standing right behind this guy. They all played the exact same offense, the run and shoot. So it's going to be promising. Real quick, guys. As everybody knows, week 0 has come. Week 0 has gone. And we saw 5 remarkable matchups. We're talking about the first one, which, by the way, got to give a very big shout out to the University of Hawaii. Their field goal kicker was mentioned on national news. Why? Because he taught himself to kick field goals via watching YouTube. And he also taught himself to speak English at a junior college. So he did it on all in the zone. He has ice waters in his vein. Hawaii, they played host to Stanford. They were 2.5-point favorites. Hawaii won 23-20. Pensman, what did you think about that matchup?
Because of you and your big mouth about Hawaii this and Hawaii that, the why. I was watching the game because of you. So I'm having Brian over to watch the Hawaii game. I'm watching the Hawaii game on Saturday. You watching the Hawaii game? Yes, I might as well. So I thought the game was good. I don't know if he's Tom Brady, but I don't know. I think he's gonna be good. I thought he was NFL ready, but I was just worried about him blowing out his ankle. I thought it was his knee at first until you
I
told
did
me it was
too.
his ankle, but I thought it was his knee the way he was limping. But the way he kept going in and out, it shows how tough he is. He kept going. He would come out. Nope. But I thought the defense was solid against Stanford. They had a huge drive. Stanford had a chance to pull ahead, but Hawaii came back and caused a 3-and-out and got the ball back and set up the game-winning field goal. So I thought that was a solid stop for them. But
Yeah.
I'm with Brian. If Micah can't go with the Arizona game, I'd like to see how those. I like to see him get tested before we can talk about bowl eligible. So I'm just happy they beat Stanford. So.
Hey, Brandon, on this subject, on the same subject,
Yeah.
I was just looking at some of the stats from the game. Stanford was 3 for 4 in the red zone, and Hawaii was 4 for 4 in the red zone. So that's 100% in the red zone. So, I mean, that's pretty productive right there in the red zone.
That's considering we were not that productive the last 3 years. That's a good sign.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed it continues. Yeah, we do run the run and shoot offense, which is a pass heavy offense. You're used to seeing 35, 45, 55, heck, even 60 points matchups. But teams have evolved, so they have a better understanding of the run and shoot. But it's still one of the best offenses there.
Hey, Brandon, you want to look at Ralph's comment there?
Stanford has Frank Wright. Yep, that is right. So actually, Frank Wright is their head coach. He's the interim head coach. Andrew Luck brought him in to be the head coach because they fired the current head coach before the season started. So Frank Wright is the offensive coordinator, yes, but he's also the interim head coach. Great. I think it's a good move, honestly, for Stanford. The culture in Stanford has not been good since Andrew Luck left. And yeah, he is back as their GM. I will say it's not the same. It definitely is not the same.
He hasn't been the same since Jim Harbaugh left, too.
That is true.
Yeah,
absolutely. So let's look at the next game. Iowa State versus Kansas State in the Farmageddon matchup. This was actually, I actually had Kansas State winning. However, I will say this. Both of them were incredibly well matched, and I tip my cap absolutely to Iowa State. What about you?
My thing was the fourth down at the beginning of the right. I think it was the fourth quarter or something where Kansas State got in the fourth quarter or something. I just couldn't believe he went for it right there. Kick it, go down there, and he should have punted. I wouldn't have gone for it on fourth down, and I think that was the whole entire mistake of Kansas State the whole entire time. I think that's why they lost, because they just, when they got the ball, when Iowa got the ball, they just went down there and did what they had to do. That's what I saw. I wouldn't have gone for it on fourth down like he did at that time.
I agree with you 100%, and obviously we have somebody here that's with Pinsman. It says on here, first half was sloppy. And then Iowa in the Iowa K-State game. But it was a great game in general to watch. I had a lot of fun watching it. Shout out to Iowa State. They won 24-21. Let's go to the next game. Idaho State versus UNLV. Guys, I'm going to tell you, I fell for Vegas all the way hard. And I actually had UNLV winning 62-14.
I had 60-10.
And ladies and gentlemen, we both fell for this trap. And it wasn't until late in the fourth quarter when UNLV came back and took the lead the final time to win 38-31. I don't know, man. I don't think, after seeing what I saw, I thought UNLV was going to be one that could challenge for the Mountain West Championship. Nope. I don't think it's going to happen.
Not after that.
I do not think it's going to happen.
I had 60-10.
Yeah, it was. Idaho State, the Bengals. Anytime I've watched the Bengals play, they've not been competitive, but
they must have been watching Brian play NCAA football or something, because they came to play.
Yeah, they said, "Hold my beer. We are here," and they almost pulled up an immaculate upset. Yes, this is Dan Mullen's first win at UNLV. So shout out to them, but I still think UNLV is they're in some deep dog mess with how they played. I mean, they'd be at this rate, they'd be lucky to go 7-5. That's just my thoughts. So let's stick to the next game. Fresno State. They went on and traveled to Kansas, and Kansas absolutely mollywopped them 31-7, and it really should have been 61-0. Fresno State absolutely did not come to play, turning the ball over. Just looked like they're all out of whack. I really, here's what I think. I think they fell for the trap game. They looked at it and said, "Oh, we maybe can beat them, but let's just be prepared for the next opponent." Yada yada yada, and they got absolutely mollywopped. But what are your thoughts on those guys? Like, I mean, are you surprised that Kansas waxed the floor, or do you think Fresno State legit had a chance?
No, I didn't even think Fresno State had a chance against anything.
Wow.
The way I looked at it. So yeah.
Okay.
I really want the reason I say that is because I think that Kansas can win actually the what is it, the Big 12? Yeah,
they're
the
the Big 12.
Yeah, I think they can actually win the Big 12. I'm pulling for them because I want to see them win the Big 12 because I have them picked to win the Big 12 in my little thing over here. So yeah.
All right. What do you think, Pinsman?
Well, first off, before he leaves, Eddie, I'm glad you're here. I just want to give a shout out to you. Thanks for coming in. I just want to catch you before you leave the stream. So I think Fresno State just collapsed. I thought they had it at first, and then they all right, whatever. It's the first game.
Yeah, it is true. And then look, the last one was Sam Houston State taking on Western Kentucky. I had the Hilltoppers winning. I didn't have them winning this big, but they won 41-24. Shout out to Jason Barfield, who is the SID media relations manager for Sam Houston State. He's been on our show, really good friend of ours. But I'm definitely proud of the Hilltoppers for pulling out a big win to start the season. And it's only going to go from here. I'm looking forward to everything with regards to college football because, guys, college football is back. Come on. Can I get an amen?
Amen.
Yes. Football.
Preach it, Brandon. Preach it.
Back. And I mean, it's back and it's going to be better than ever. And yes, we cannot wait. All right. Real quick, before we let you guys go, there are a couple matchups that we have highlighted. I want to talk about. The first one is actually Boise State is traveling down to Tampa. They're playing at Raymond J. Stadium. It's South Florida Bulls taking on Boise. With Boise, with what they lost, I don't know if Boise can absolutely continue the level of success. I think Boise actually loses this game like 34-31. What do you think, Pinsman?
I think Boise State's going to lose.
Oof. What do you think, Brian?
I think I think the Boise State could win because I think some of the guys on the national TV has actually picked them to actually be in the playoffs or actually going to a bowl. So this, it's kind of hard to say because I haven't seen what both teams have, but I think that you could see an upset or not even an upset. But I think the Broncos will win by a touchdown, or maybe a field. I'll say this: make it a field goal. I'll say a field goal. They'll win by a field goal on a last-second field goal or something like that.
All right, and then we'll talk about Matt's team here. Georgia Tech taking on Prime. This is the first game without Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter at Colorado. They have Georgia Tech as favorite. I absolutely think Georgia Tech is going to come ready to play. I can see a 34-10. Mollywhopping right there with Georgia Tech winning. What do you think, Pinsman?
I think 34-21 or something like that, not 34-10. You got to give them more credit than that.
Yeah.
What do you think, Brian?
I think that Georgia Tech's going to come out and wallop them pretty bad because look who the Colorado lost. I mean, they've lost their wide receiver, their quarterback.
Well, it's Prime.
And yeah, but who do they got behind it? They really don't know.
They really don't.
It could be a bad year for it could be bad for the Buffaloes. So it could be really bad because you haven't heard nothing from them. I mean, We don't even know who their quarterback. I mean, they're pretty sure that we don't even know who their quarterback is right now or anything. So in
You're
the way
right.
so I think that Georgia Tech. The only thing that Georgia Tech could do is this go over the top now that Travis is there. So we'll see what Georgia Tech's got too. You know.
Absolutely. And then
Can
this
I?
next game, this is a shout out to our good friend Matty Hudak, Tulane University. Northwestern is traveling down in New Orleans. They're going to take on Tulane. I'm absolutely going Tulane. I think Tulane wins this one. Like, I could see them winning 38-7. What do you think, Pensman?
I'll agree with you on that one. I usually disagree, but I agree with you on that one.
Yeah.
So, but Ralph said that Georgia Tech head coach Brent Kay is on the hot seat, and Eddie says Coach Prime is a fraud without Travis Hunter.
Yeah.
We shall see. What do you think, Brian? Do you
We'll
think?
find out.
What do you think? Who do you think wins that game? Tulane and Northwestern.
I'm gonna say Tulane. I'm gonna say Tulane on that one.
I like. See, look, Matty, here we're all going with Tulane right now. Just letting you know.
Yeah, just going letting you go.
Now, the last game we're going to mention, because there's a whole slew, but I'm not going to go through all this for Friday's episode, is Clemson is taking on LSU. Number 4 taking on number 9. It's going to be a really big game. Clemson is favored to win by 4. However, I'm not too sold on LSU. Actually, I think Clemson wins. If Cade Klubnik comes out like he's on fire, like Red October, oh yeah, you better absolutely believe Clemson is going to mollywop them like 45-14. But if Clemson comes out like ice cold, so cold that you have icicles hanging out of your nose kind of thing, yeah, LSU is going to handle their business that way. What do you think, Pensman?
No disrespect to Brian, okay? This is no disrespect, but I think LSU has them. Because if you look at the stats and you look at the past, they haven't been the same without Trevor Lawrence. As soon as Trevor Lawrence happened, as soon as he left, Clemson hasn't been the same. I don't know why. They should be a powerhouse, but I think LSU got them on Saturday.
What do you think, Brian?
I'll tell you this, since I'm a big Clemson fan, and there's going to be some problems, I think, with Clemson and LSU. I think there's all kinds of, I mean, I was looking at Clemson's running back. I mean, what does he have at the running back? Let's just see what the new defense looks like. Clemson's got, a good defensive coordinator now. Let's see what he brings. And the one thing that I didn't like for the last couple of years was, just unlike the Hawaii game, when Stanford was driving you made stupid mid penalties. Clemson made a lot of stupid mid penalties that kept the drive going last year. So I want to see if they clean that up. There's been talks about all kinds of other stuff. I just want to see if the running back room, the wide receivers, are they up to par, because, I mean, they got 4 of the good ones. So, but I think Clemson can win over LSU by probably like 10. I'm going to say 34-28 in the last minute. Clemson takes the lead with a field goal. It'll be, I think that would be happening. And then LSU is going to probably drive, and they're going to make a big mistake or a turnover. That's how I see that game going.
It's going to be a lot of fun regardless.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Y'all, we've had a blast of a show. Real quick, want to let you guys know the schedule that is lined up for the Sportz Nutz. We will be live tomorrow. Yes, we were supposed to have Vince Papali on. However, he had double booked an appearance, so we have him rescheduled for the 9th of September. And then also this Wednesday, the 27th, Money Lines with the Sportz Nutz starts, which we will have more in-depth information about that tomorrow. And then Friday, we have another episode. That episode Friday was actually supposed to be for the Augusta Pro National, or the Augusta Pro Hockey team. That actually has been moved to September the 23rd. That's because we're getting all 3 owners on there, and I'm actually really excited about that one. So tune in on that one. But then and then we have Labor Day, but then Tuesday, the 2nd of September, we have our good friend Ralph Williams is joining the show.
Yay!
Yeah, Ralph will be
Yay, Ralph.
Ralph will be coming on, and he's going to talk some sports, life, whatever else we can talk about, because that's just what we do. And then the 5th, then we have money lines, of course, again on the 3rd. And then on Friday, the 5th, we have the Morehead City Marlins Collegiate Summer League Baseball team. Talk much coming on. Can't wait for that one. And then on the 9th of September, yes, Vince Papali will be joining the show. It's confirmed. I've confirmed that with him. There most likely will not be an episode on September the 12th unless we have somebody big. Reason being is because that is Cassie and mine's 10-year wedding anniversary. So we will be celebrating that day. Thank you. And then on
a nice place.
and then on the 16th of this one, I'm really excited for the 16th of September, Wisconsin Whitewater, the D3 football program who wins every year. They have decided to come on our show. They're eager to come on. I'm really excited to have. I feel like a kid at a candy store having them on. I really appreciate it. And then quickly letting you guys, like I said, letting everybody know the 23rd of September is when we have the Augusta professional hockey team on. We cannot wait for that one. So yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun. With that being said, for all who watched us tonight, we greatly appreciate it. Brian, where can people find you, sir?
Everybody can find me on Tiger Stripes Media on YouTube and bpettit34 on X.
Very good. And Pinsman, where can they find you, sir?
I have 2 announcements real quick.
Go ahead.
Jack Frost, Lane Frost's cousin. I watched you on Saturday during the YA game. I was flipping back and forth. Jack, you did good, even though you didn't do a qualified ride. So I'm proud of you getting up there, even though you got bucked off. But I'm proud of you. And Ralph Williams, good job today, and you're moving up. I'm glad you're stepping in Brandon's footsteps. I'm glad you're being on the show. But you can find me on YouTube channel on Pensman Sports. You can find me on Twitch at Pensman Sports 07. And you can find me on X at Pensman Sports as well.
If you guys can, please help our guys grow. We greatly appreciate it. It just takes one, but let's help our guys reach the obtainable goals. We'd absolutely appreciate it. Thank you again to everybody who tuned in tonight. Shout out to everybody in Terrell, Texas. Remember, we do broadcast every day, Monday through Saturday from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Central on TigerNation.live or 95.5 KFCE. We actually are going to have a promotional clip put out to air there. So yes, that's the next thing that is coming for the Sportz Nuts. And real quick, want to thank everybody. We're at 2,288 subscribers. Thank you so much for getting us to that number. We're trying to get to the year-end goal of 2,500, and we can do it with your help. With that being said, as I always tell you, as Matt will tell you, don't get in trouble in the game of life. Don't drink, don't drive, don't do something stupid. If you're going to drink, stay home or get a ride share. That's the best option. Don't get the whoop whoops, the police behind you. It's not worth it. So don't get flagged in a game of life. And as Shane always tells you, peace, love, and bacon grease. We will see you tomorrow. Big episode. Until then, you guys have a wonderful night and peace up. A-Town down. Why? It's the greatest sports day there ever was. Good night and enjoy this outro.